Many Palestinians report of abuse in Israeli prisons, with testimonies detailing sexual violence. A report by the Israeli human rights group B'Tselem describes a systematic pattern of mistreatment and the withholding of medical care. Israel has denied the allegations. A warning: some viewers may find this report disturbing.
A silent protest in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. They have been sitting here every Tuesday since October 7, 2023, with pictures of their relatives who are behind bars. This mother is concerned for her son's well-being in an Israeli prison.
In this cold weather, he has no clothes, no blanket, bad food. Their bodies are collapsing.
This woman knows what it's like inside an Israeli prison. We are calling her Nabila to protect her identity. She fears speaking out could put her at risk of being detained again.
In prison, it's like living in a mass grave. Nobody knows anything about us. Any one of us can die, and no one will know why and how. We only have the bare minimum to survive.
Nabila was held for several months after October 7, 2023 as an administrative detainee. That means without charge or trial. She says she was abused multiple times, psychologically, physically, and sexually.
Food was either not enough or rotten. We were beaten, and there was sexual abuse. This was not easy for me. It still affects me now. One of the guards put his penis through the cell window. I was shocked. It happened more than once.
Her testimony is not an isolated case. This video shows detainees being subjected to harsh treatment, including in some cases sexual abuse. It's been shared by the Israeli human rights group B'Tselem. Their latest report, called Living Hell, documents dozens of cases of alleged abuse. More accounts have been emerging after the release of nearly 2,000 Palestinians in October last year as part of a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Many of them were held here at Offer prison.
While much of Israeli media labels all those Palestinians who were released terrorists, the vast majority of them was detained without a trial. Today, best estimates suggest that more than 9,000 Palestinians remain in Israeli prisons, including hundreds of minors. Most are awaiting legal proceedings.
The Israel Prison Service, which operates Israel's 30 civilian prisons, has categorically rejected claims of abuse as false and unsupported to DW. Meanwhile, Itamar Ben-Gvir, Israel's far-right national security minister, has openly boasted on social media about the detention conditions for Palestinians.
The absolute minimum of conditions, but there is another thing we need to do: the death penalty.
B'Tselem says what is happening in Israeli prisons is systematic torture and amounts to dehumanization.
This is a result of a long process of dehumanized Palestinians. We see it not only in the prison camps, we see it all around. The way the Israeli regime is treating Palestinians everywhere. So people allow themselves to act like this, and they know that they will have a full impunity.
For Nabila, the psychological scars run deep, she says, but speaking about her ordeal in an Israeli prison is essential to give a voice to those who remain inside.
Now, that report from Fanny Facsar, who is still with us in Jerusalem. Fanny, what else did Nabila, as you have called her, say about the situation for the detained Palestinians?
This is just one case. There are really dozens and dozens of testimonies, and new ones are just surfacing after the prisoner release last year, end of last year. What I found quite interesting, that in between these testimonies, when you read them, there is one factor that is mentioned by various people, and that is the question of freedom, that even when you're released from prison, you don't really feel free. And that is, of course, linked to the fact that there's been an increase of checkpoints, limits to movements in the occupied West Bank after October 7th. There were these limits in place already before October 7th, but Palestinians describe the situation as worsened so much. Of course, there's also all the attacks by radical settlers, far-right elements within the government who are dreaming of the annexation of the occupied West Bank. There are military raids, and tens of thousands of Palestinians have been been displaced from their homes in the occupied West Bank. So also Nabila told us, even though she's released, she doesn't really feel free. Now, I need to point out, of course, that we did reach out not only to the Israeli Prison Service, but also to the IDF. And they have also categorically rejected any claims of abuse, including sexual abuse. They also said that they're looking into reports. But not only the human rights group B'Tselem, also others are pointing out there are so many testimonies out there. How is it possible that there has been only one soldier so far convicted of abusing detainees? More needs to be done, they say.
And I want to bring in now Shai Parnas. He's the spokesperson for B'Tselem, the rights group that documented abuse within Israeli prisons. Shai joins us tonight from Tel Aviv. Shai, it's good to have you with us. In the report we just saw, Nabila describes horrid conditions for Palestinians inside Israeli prisons. Does that corroborate what you have found as well?
Thank you for having me. And I have to say, what was shocking for us in this report and also in the previous report about the condition in the Israeli facilities, that's pretty much the same story repeat itself over and over across dozens of testimonies from Palestinians from all over the region. Gazans, West Bankers, Jerusalemites, and even Palestinian citizens of Israel, both genders and in different age groups, all the way from 16 to more than 60. So that's also part of what we concluded, that Israel is running a network of torture camps. So we conclude that in those at least 13 facilities that Israel is holding Palestinian detainees. That's pretty much the same conditions that Nabila described in the item we've just seen.
Let me ask you then about accountability. I mean, do you have faith that Israeli courts will be able to deliver justice if people are held accountable?
It's not just a matter of my belief. It's that the Israel internal system, which wasn't great to begin with, has totally collapsed in the last couple of years. Everything that's been done is being done with the total knowledge and approval of the Supreme Court, and Israel gets total impunity for their action. And that's true for Israel inside and also, unfortunately, outside. Israel gets total impunity for their action by the international community, although there's been extensive reports both by Palestinian and Israeli human rights organizations, and as we've just seen by the international media, about what's going on inside those facilities.
But what about international venues? I mean, would you take your findings to international tribunals, for example?
We don't do that, but those tribunals and those committees can use everything that we publish, since it's all over YouTube, our social accounts, and our website. I have to add that there has been also a committee by the UN who found pretty much the same conclusion. It's not the information that those establishments or countries or the EU is lacking. What they're lacking is the will to act upon those conclusions and findings.
What about getting public support on your side or behind you in Israel? I mean, yours is an Israeli organization. Does that impact the way that your findings are received by your government, but also by the general public? I mean, do you have an instant credibility that a foreign organization would not?
I don't think it has to do with our credibility, which is flawless. It has to be about the mentality of the majority of the Israeli Jewish public. We live right now in most genocidal society, as we've concluded in our genocide report, and that's part of it. Part of it is a lot of people don't want to face reality. Some other groups are in favor of what we're seeing, as you just mentioned in the item.
Well, Shai, why is that the case? Why is that the case, though? I know that you think that there should be more investigations of abuse.
That's the result. That's the result of 70 years of dehumanization towards Palestinians, of apartheid regime who separates the population. of total impunity by or near total impunity Israel gets to anyone who's harming Palestinians, not for 2 years, but for
what
70
happens,
years.
Shai, what happens to your report now? You've come to this conclusion, you've got these findings. What happens now? Anything?
What happens is about international community, because there's no mechanism in Israel to stop those torture camps or what Israel conduct in the West Bank or in Gaza. It's all policy. It's not by accident. And unless the international community will take action, that's at least what we are going to see till November, when there's the forthcoming election in Israel.
Okay. Shai Parnas with the human rights organization Selem, joining us tonight from Tel Aviv. Shai, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and sharing your findings. Thank you.
Thank you.